This Toilets to Titles is proud to present Title Time. And here's your hosts, Rich, George, and Jason. Does everyone know what time it is? Toilets to Titles is proud.
And welcome to Title Time. I'm your host, Jason, and with me, as always, is my brother from another mother, George. Say hi to the people, George.
Hi, people. Good morning. Merry Christmas Eve. Happy New Year's to you and all. I am so happy to be here today. It is going to be a phenomenal day.
As you mentioned, this is the Christmas Eve edition. That's why George and I both have our hats on, both hoping for wins. Likely for both of us. I'm thinking because
I don't know. We have a tougher test today. We got the Cowboys, so I'm not taking anything for granted.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you'll be out there not taking anything for granted.
That's right. Absolutely will be taking nothing for granted.
Before we get this thing fully started, let's dive into a couple of the questions we have already. I do want to mention patreon.com/toilets to titles. I always say we have a range for every salary. So we started at $1.50 and work our way up. At that $1.50 level, you can get into our gilded chat, into the Patreon chat. But if you want to, you don't have to pay to be in gilded. You just email toiletstitles@gmail.com and you can get into our gilded chat, and you chat with over 200 fun-loving fantasy football people. We talk about fantasy football all the time in there. You have full access to the team. But for that $1.50 a month, you get access to the Patreon chat, which extra giveaways. Coach is always doing giveaways. He's giving away so much money. I don't know how he still has a house this holiday season. But there's always giveaways in there.
He doesn't. He sold it so he could do all the giveaways.
Is that what he did? I assumed he just gave it away to somebody, but deed, family, and all. You just move in, I move out. It's cool.
Yep.
On top of everything else, toiletstitles.com. And again, if you want to be in our gilded chat, you can email toiletstitles@gmail.com. One thing you can do is check out mine and Rich's top 10 rankings every week. We do it at toiletstitles.com. If you find me on Twitter at BFTGJason, I post it every week. And that's me and Rich's top 10 at every major fantasy position. So you can find that at toiletstitles.com. And then one last thing that I know would make coaches' Christmas dreams come true is if we can get some more followers here on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the show if you like what you're getting from us today and every other day. I think we were a few away from a couple of thousand there. So make coaches' dreams come true. Like and subscribe to YouTube, and it'll be a happy coach instead of a sad coach on Christmas. So get him that Christmas thing he really, really wants.
And we always want a happy coach. We never want a sad coach, because let's face it, when coach is sad, he beats us.
He beats us. It's Christmas beatings will continue until morale and participation improves. Yeah.
Correct.
All right. So let's see. My son said he was way too early. You were, and you left off an O there and 2. Just a little school while we're doing the show. Duarte
get schooled on Christmas break.
Duarte 5656 says, "Merry Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas to you." Eli saw the Santa Flight Radar 24. You better follow that thing because you need to be in bed so that Santa can come tonight.
Absolutely.
Speaking of coach, my guys, Ramsaholic, happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays, Shay.
Bobby Ham, he's having ham tomorrow. Probably had ham today.
Dude, I'm having honey baked ham, and I am so looking forward to it.
Merry Christmas, Feliz Navidad. And I don't know how to pronounce that last one, so I'll just move on from that one.
Bouton de Natal.
Okay. But there was no T in that first word.
It's French. Yeah, N-A-T. I said Bouton. Bouon.
Yeah, it's not Bhutan, it's Buon.
Listen, there's a T in there. He did the Eli. He left the letter out.
You forgot to type it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Happy holidays. Let's see. Bobby Ham says, I took James having a good game for granted.
You did.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. Like, it was a good matchup, in all honesty. The Chargers are probably one of the worst run defenses in the entire NFL. Problem is they fired their coach, and they got nothing to play for, really. So, they just went out and let it all hang out loose and gave the Bills everything they had, and actually turned out to be a really good game.
It's pretty darn amazing how when an NFL team fires its head coach, the following week the team, at least for 1 week, looks better. Like they want to show how bad their last coach was. Yep. And they have the energy and effort for one game, and then usually it's downhill from there. Remember last year Jeff Saturday won his first, all the Colts fans were puffing out their chest like, see, we didn't make some giant disastrous mistake by naming a former center who's never coached before a head coach.
Yep.
That was a 1 week thing. 1 week thing. All right, we're gonna I'm gonna scroll up and we're gonna get to our questions first, and then we can throw, I'm gonna throw this out for the chat so we have some for later in case we need them, because let's face it, every week we go through the playoffs, half y'all go away. Maybe not you guys because you're watching us, but half of the teams go away, so there's a lot less participation expected this week. Plus, it's Christmas Eve, so other people are spending time with their families. I get to spend time with my son on this show, so I've got that going for me, which is nice. But, I do feel like it'll be a little bit lighter this week than normal, so I'm going to throw out there, give me your best, and anybody watching, give me your best and worst Christmas gifts of all times. And we'll read them off later, and George and I can talk about ours. You can also tell us your favorite Christmas traditions or whatever you want to talk about there. But mainly, I want to know. I want to feel better about my worst Christmas gift. So tell me what your worst Christmas gift was.
Before we get into the questions, I have a question for you.
Okay.
What game are you looking forward to the most this week?
Oh yeah. There's that one. It's since you're not allowed to say it, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Cowboys and Dolphins. I heard a stat this week, and I knew one half of this already, right? Because I've been dogging you for a long time that the Dolphins haven't beat anybody with a winning record. I did not realize the Cowboys have beaten one team once with a winning record all season long, and that was the Eagles a couple weeks ago. So, between the two teams, one win against a team with a winning record, it's going to go to a 2-2 after this. But
and the Cowboys have not won a game on the road all year long.
Yeah.
Like their road splits are just absolutely atrocious.
What's lucky for them is that oftentimes these Florida stadiums become home stadiums.
Not recently for the Dolphins. Like when the Dolphins were bad, yeah, absolutely. And I expect there'll be a good Cowboy showing today in Miami because it's the Cowboys and they're one of the teams that it doesn't matter what city they go to. Their fan base is so large that they're going to have a contingent of fans in every single game, right? Especially when the teams are good, that helps as well. But the thing is the Dolphins have been selling out every single game, and it's a vast majority of Dolphins fans. And they've even taken over a couple of stadiums to where when you go in, it's like home games for the Dolphins, even though they're on the road. It was like that against the Commanders. It was like that against the Jets. Like they just took over those stadiums.
So, what game are you looking most forward to?
Well, I was going to say Cowboys Dolphins for obvious reasons, but also I think it's one of the better games on the slate. The only other game I think is really good on paper on the slate is the team that leads the NFC versus the team that leads the AFC Monday night. at 8:15 p.m. And that's the Ravens 49ers. I think that's going to be a heck of a game. Lots to play for both of those two teams. But if I had to go away from those two teams and just pick a game that I just think it's going to be a good game, I'm going to go Lions Vikings. I really think that's going to be a very good game between two. Lions are a very good team, and the Vikings are a good team. So I think that game right there is going to be a fun game to watch.
With all the primetime games of like backup quarterbacks, Browning versus Rudolph, and all the ones we've seen throughout this season. With that, what a gift the NFL gave us for Christmas night. Like, oh, you thought all your presents had been unwrapped? Here, one more present just for you. Go ahead and open it up. Let's watch the two best teams in the league, or the two teams at the top of their conferences. Let's watch that on Christmas night. What a very
two legit MVP candidates. Like the
absolutely
number one in Brock Purdy, number two in Lamar.
No, number one in CMC, number two in Lamar, number three in Brock Purdy.
No. I'm sorry, the MVP is not a running back award. I'm gonna quote this guy. He's a good friend of mine. He's kind of knowledgeable about football. He once said Christian McCaffrey had a better season in Carolina, where he rushed for 1,000 yards and received for 1,000 yards. Did not win the MVP. He does not have a chance at the MVP this year. To quote Jason Watson.
I appreciate that. Look, it's honestly, I still think it could come down to Dak and Purdy. So. Dak has to have a heck of a last couple of games. Yeah. Still think it could happen, but and honestly, I don't believe it's Purdy. Like, I don't think he's the most important. I think if you put Jimmy Garoppolo on that team with these weapons, he has a hell of a season. Through 13 weeks, their stats were tied. Jimmy Garoppolo fell off, and Brock Purdy didn't. What I'm saying is, if you look at what Jimmy Garoppolo did for the 49ers while he was with the 49ers, and he's not even playing in front of Aiden O'Connell, it really doesn't matter much which quarterback you put there. Yes, you can put some terrible, absolutely awful, terrible quarterbacks there and they can't succeed. But if you put a competent quarterback in San Francisco, they're going to succeed. This isn't an MVP show, though. We do have to answer start-sit questions. I will let you discuss that more later.
I am glad you think Jimmy Garoppolo is a competent quarterback.
I do. I think he can be competent with the right staff and the right players around him. I mean, that's obviously not the Raiders. Sorry, Rich.
Sorry, Rich. You're not here. You're
in case you watch this later. So here's the thing. Right now it's just the two of us. So if we split one, which we might here,
you can throw it to the viewers.
Yeah, well, or you'll have to go to the Gilded Chat and ask in the Start Sit section. If we split them, you can ask there to break the tie, or just listen to our arguments either way and decide for yourself, which is what I recommend since it is your team. But K-Shaw says, and K-Shaw's got a bunch of questions here, which means we helped get to a bunch of deep into the playoffs here. So I'm pretty proud of us, George. I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit. Either that or they didn't listen to us. Either way. Start Goff.
We had a hand in it.
Yeah. Start Goff over Flacco and Mullins. George?
I'm going Goff. Listen, I already said I expect this to be a very good game. It was one of the games I'm actually looking forward to this week. I expect lots of fantasy points. This could be a sneaky shootout. Goff has scored 20.3 fantasy points in 2 of his past 3 road games. Both quality outings coming indoors at the Chargers in Week 10 and at New Orleans in Week 13. He has a great history with the going up against the Vikings with at least 25 fantasy points in 3 of his past 5 outings. Yeah, the defense in Minnesota is a little bit better, but I still like Goff in this matchup. I'm going to go with Goff here.
And actually, I was I had to go back and look at my top 10 because I know I had both ranked. I've Goff one spot ahead, and that's kind of where I was when I saw this question. I was like, no, I'd take Goff over Flacco, but it's real close. And then I went back and looked because when I sat down and looked at matchups, looked at rankings, looked at points scored, it was real close for me. Flacco, I think, turning the ball over a couple of times a game is what tips me. Goff to Flacco, or from Flacco to Goff there. So I think Goff is one spot higher on my rankings, and I'm sticking with that here on Sunday. Flex 2 PPR. Flowers, Addison, Achane, and Noah Brown. Got to go with 2.
This one was a little bit more difficult for me. I'm going to go with Addison first off. I expect this to be a semi high scoring game. I like Addison this week. He had a huge game last week. I'm not a big fan of chasing points, but I'm going to go with Addison. And I think I'm going to go Achane this week against Dallas. Dallas is not a very good run defense team. They're not a very good road team. They have both of those things going in their favor. It's a West Coast team coming east. I'm gonna go with Achane and Addison.
Very, very nice. I actually have the exact same too. Look, this is hopefully we keep doing this and it's super easy. But we do have some of it won't be. Also, I do want to call out real quick because, and I'll get right back to this question, but Joe gave us a $1.99 donation here for.
Oh no, they don't know yet. Hold on, it's like a Christmas present. We just can't throw it out as soon as it happens. We got to build up some suspense. We got to build up, let's relax a little bit. Let's continue what we're doing. Let's remain professional.
Okay.
Sorry, we just got a huge guest that just joined us.
Somebody we haven't seen in a little over a week now, or a little under a week. Celebrity host. I like to call him Mom. He's sipping some hot cocoa, I believe. Bringing him to the stage now.
With a little baby.
Justin from T2T. Morning, Justin. I wish I had some applause.
Hey, good morning, guys. But hey, listen, I this is a public service announcement. Okay, this is for all of you guys that are like me out there. Today's the day. Today's Christmas Eve. Like all the stores, they're going to be closed tomorrow. Like 3 days ago, it was freaking Thanksgiving. How is it already Christmas? We have to buy our stuff, guys. This is when we all unite. This is when we all come together. We go to our local Big Lots. We go to our local Goodwill. We find those happy Valentine's Day cards because they're already on display and Hallmark hates men like us. And we take a snapshot of it, and then we go home and we write it on a piece of paper so that it seems like terms of endearment to our wives, because it was a heartfelt gift from us, not because we waited until the last minute. We would never do that. But these different gift ideas, guys, we need to put them in the comments so that other guys like us will know what we have to do last minute to buy for all of our friends and family. Because Santa only comes to the kids usually because most adults are not on the good list. We need these ideas. Put them in the comments, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will say, I was proud of myself this year and knocked out all my wife's presents early. They're all but one gift is here, and the gift that's not here was a last minute thing that I just kind of decided to grab online. But all her presents are wrapped in under the tree. They're not wrapped well. I'm still a man, so but they are wrapped. So I tried to watch a YouTube video on how to wrap, and mine did not look like theirs at all. Go ahead, Justin.
No, I was just laughing at you. Yeah, no, we're fortunate enough to have all of the Christmas done, and my wife got a couple of puppies about a month ago, so that kind of covered me for a while. But so she got her Christmas early. But we're excited, having fun.
That's a trap. You better still have gotten her something.
Yeah, I did, and I ended up giving that to her early too.
Yeah, because I bought annual passes for Christmas for Disney a couple months ago, and I thought, oh well, Christmas should be settled. No, not so much.
Holy cow! Look at that. Hey!
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Appreciate you,
Rams.
buddy. Thank you
Well,
very much, Jay. We appreciate you, my man.
that'll just go back into the show and find graphics like the one up in the corner. And I don't know if Justin saw, but I played the video this morning too, and the
There
cool
should
stuff.
be there's
Oh,
one
there it is.
around if you want it.
Oh, there it is. Okay, Justin fixed it. See, that's why I need Mom here. Mom fixes everything for me.
Absolutely.
All right, we're gonna get back into these questions. I'll have you talk up Rival here in a minute, Justin. But I want to.
Cool.
We've been halfway through K-Shaw's questions, and I want to make sure we get them done. Let's see. Way too early. Hold on. Started Pickens last night. That was good. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the right question again. Jets or Eagles defense? I can't imagine anybody's going to say Eagles. I know they're playing the Giants. I know that. But that defense has been dreadful.
And the Jets get the Commanders, right? Like,
yeah.
How many times has Sam Howell been sacked? Like, is he up to 800 now? It's ridiculous. I'm thinking the Jets.
He gets the David Carr Award for sure this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the other reason you don't take the Giants or the Eagles playing the Giants is that's a division game, and with division games, like anything can happen. Those two teams know each other. They play each other twice every single year. Don't be surprised if the Giants come out and actually play a pretty good game. That is absolutely within the range of possibilities. And don't be surprised if the Giants go out and beat the Eagles. Like, that could actually happen as well.
Justin, you agree?
Yeah, no, it's the Jets. I feel like the opponents, the matchups are actually pretty similar as far as offensive ability. So, I mean, it's a little bit different style of play, but as far as their production goes, I think it's going to be pretty similar. So the Eagles are averaging, depending on your format, the Eagles are most likely a bottom 10 team in fantasy football in your league in fantasy points, and the Jets are a top 10. So if the matchups are even, you're going to go with the team that's gotten you there. Unlike benching Puka and benching Pickens, like I have across several leagues, you want to just go with the guys that got you there and quit playing the matchups.
Well, I don't think George Pickens got you there.
That's fair. But also in that league, it was a viable start that I chose not to. So I'm still what I'm kicking myself in the butt for.
Don't worry, you're not the only person who sat him. It's completely fine.
Yeah, that one is.
So K-Shaw says, with Pittman and Foreman out, I have Pierce and Roschon, and that hurts. My two flex, I have Wicks and Douglas with no Henry and Juju. So he's saying he has Douglas in because there's no Henry, no Juju. Any change in a PPR?
I think I would go Pierce personally. I mean, I know I'm a Colts fan, but Pierce has had bright moments, bright spots. Downs missed a game earlier this season. I can't remember which one it was, and Pierce stepped in and played nicely. I think Pierce probably has the safest floor here. I think Roschon is the most talented player here. I've been saying it all year. He's just not getting the opportunity, and for whatever reason, they just don't want to give him the rock. And I think they'll force feed Pierce enough that I certainly would. I would certainly flex him, and I'm probably going to flex him over Wicks just because there's so many other receiving options there for Green Bay, and George kind of has me sold on Douglas as far as a flexible play. So, yeah, that's what I would do.
So we think he's Alex Pierce and not Damian Pierce, right?
Oh shoot! If it's Dameon Pierce, then yeah, just leave it.
If it's Dameon Pierce, leave it for sure. George, you can decide depending on which Pierce too. Just
I'm going with Douglas for sure. I want him in my lineup, especially if this is PPR, which it is. He says it's any change PPR. So I want Douglas in. And I'm willing to put him in over Roschon, to be honest. And depending on which Pierce that is, I would go Roschon over Pierce. If it's Dameon Pierce, I'm leaving Dameon in. If it's Alec, I'm gonna go with Douglas and Roschon. If it's Dameon, I'm gonna go with Douglas and Damien.
Yeah, I
Well,
was assuming Alec just because he said he's without Pittman, so I just kind of figured maybe he went and picked up Alec Pierce.
it's probably right, but I saw Pierce in my head first because he talked about a running back next, so my like with Roshan,
Yeah,
so my head went right to Damien instead. But
that's true.
I might be the odd man out, but I'm leaving Wicks in. He's way too involved, even when they have all their weapons and they don't. So I'm leaving Wicks in, and I'm playing Douglas, and I'm making that easy. But so I think we gave 3 different answers. I think all 3 of us said Douglas, but then I think we split on Pierce, Wicks, and Roshan.
But we can all agree that you're an odd man.
That's very true.
This is very
All right, I do want to mention Bobby Ham gave us some money for Christmas ham.
Hey, all right.
I mean, for $4.99,
No,
we're probably getting a can of Spam and splitting it 3 ways, but that's cool. I like Spam.
that gets us at least a half a pound of deli ham.
There you go.
I was about to say that gets us a half pound of deli bacon.
Ooh, even better.
Can we do that? Like, I feel like if he gave us money for ham and we went and got bacon, it might be.
It's pork. Doesn't matter. It comes from the same animal. So it's
All
different cut.
all of the money for these donations that we're getting in the comments here is going towards our Canton trip. I'm sure there will be both ham and bacon consumed by a Patreon
Confirmed.
at some point on that trip. It's not paying for our meals. It's helping to pay for a Patreon meal if we can do it. Maybe our booth at the expo, like the things that is normally going to be a Toilets to Titles expense. Not our own personal expenses, guys. I promise. So we appreciate all the donations, and I know that I'm not like I can't like plaster it everywhere to prove that I'm not going to be a snake and run off with the money. But you just have to trust me. I've got a trusting and lovable face. And George says it's a punchable face, but it's a lovable face.
Actually, your face is a laughable face. It's not punchable.
Okay, I'll take it.
Like when you're laying on the floor holding your foot, like I can't help.
You always go back to this. Why do we?
All right, guys, and then Keisha says finally, although there's another question there, so this isn't really finally. I need a defense. I have the Dolphins, but unsure to use them. Options are Patriots, Cowboys, Bucks, Panthers, or Vikings. Patriots, Cowboys, Bucks, Panthers, Vikings. We can throw the Bucks out. Trevor Lawrence is actually going to play. It's incredible how only quarterbacks seem to clear concussion protocol 1 week after getting concussion, and everybody else it sits out. So we can throw the Bucks out of there. Patriots, Cowboys. Let's see. Patriots are playing
Patriots
the Broncos.
Against the Broncos. It's a pretty decent matchup, actually.
Cowboys obviously playing Miami. I don't think any of us are going to say that.
No.
Let's see here. Panthers are playing the Packers. The Packers haven't looked great lately.
And the Vikings have Detroit.
I don't think you want to start them either. You know what? I'm playing the Dolphins. I am playing the Dolphins because of those teams. Of those teams, the one I think I can see score potentially, because I do think the Dolphins may get up and the Cowboys are going to have to throw the ball, and I think maybe a turnover or a pick six. So I'm going to play the Dolphins and hope for a score.
I don't think I can do that. I think I would probably go with the Patriots here against Denver. I really like that matchup. It's at Denver though, so that doesn't really bode well for the defense typically, because they're not used to playing at Mile High, and you figure in it's going to be cold there, and so they're going to be winded. The Patriots aren't a super deep defense either, so they're going to be winded. But I just think, man, to go up against the Cowboys, and they're going to be on kind of a bounce back game from last week, where coach tells me that most of the team was actually sick with the flu last week, which is why they looked so bad. Maybe they have kind of revenge in their mind and they want to show the world that they are good. I don't know, but I've got a bad feeling about that game. So I'm going to go with the Patriots here. I know it's 2-1. I don't think you can go wrong with these guys, but just got to throw that out there.
Okay.
It's out there.
Let's see. And then, like I said, there's another question here. It's a long one. Flex 2 PPR. Josh Jacobs, Calvin Ridley, Sutton, Lockett, McBride, Njoku. Right now they've got Etienne and Monty at the running back position. Hawkinson as the tight end 1. Wide receivers are Justin Jefferson and Waddle. So we need a flex 2, and then I guess probably asking if we need to make a change to the people that we're not starting at the flex.
I don't think we need to make a change at the start.
Yeah, I mean, all the starters I think are locked, so we just need the PPR situation. Also, I'm gonna look. There's too many games over too many nights, but like the only thing I might change is if any of these games are Monday night, I'd put them in the flex position. I'm not gonna go look. But like, if any of your wide receivers or running backs are playing tomorrow, make them your flex. That way, if there's a freak Christmas accident, I don't want to JPP any names or anything, but if there's a freak accident of some kind with one of your players, you have some wiggle room to make a change into another Monday player. That's the only thing I'd change as far as your running backs and your wide receivers. Now we need to talk about the flex position, who you're starting. For me, I'm playing Ridley, who hasn't looked good lately, but is playing an absolutely dreadful Tampa secondary, a team that's playing, giving up a ton of points to wide receivers and quarterbacks, especially since Lawrence is playing, and Ridley's really the only weapon aside from Ingram there, with Zay Jones being hurt and Christian Kirk being hurt, and. So for me, it's going to be Ridley, and then I'm going to look to get another Sutton touchdown because it's happened more than it hasn't happened, and I think that's something that could happen again this week against the Patriots. So Ridley and Sutton for me. George?
I'm actually in full agreement. For me, it's Ridley and Sutton. I wanted to get Jacobs in just because I feel like he's going to have all the touches, but he's going up against a very good Chiefs run defense. And I like Sutton slightly more than I like Josh Jacobs.
And Justin.
So I'm going to go with Jacobs. I do agree on the other end, or on the other player, Ridley. I agree with him completely. This kind of solves a couple of problems, or not problems, but a couple of issues here. For one, Jason, you mentioned starting your Monday night guys in a flex, and Jacobs is playing Monday night. Also, Jacobs isn't playing a super tough defense. Like, he's got Kansas City. He scored 22.5 points against them just a few weeks ago. Like, they're kind of middle of the road really against running backs, and that's because he can catch the ball out of the backfield as well. They are decent at stopping the run when they want to be, but so I like Jacobs, and I even kind of like the Raiders to keep this game close, which means they're going to be in a neutral game script the entire game. So a lot of ways that they can utilize Jacobs, and I'm pretty confident in that one. I'm willing to make that one a rival bet if you want.
Send it. Hold on. Let me and then after that you can talk about rival, but let me get over to
You insulted my honor. I demand satisfaction.
I challenge you to a duel.
I shan't mince words with you for long. I am challenging you, sir, to a duel.
Sir, your challenge is accepted.
I accept. Now I accept your challenge.
All right, so every week Justin and one of us or somebody on this makes a rival fantasy bet. This week it's going to be Sutton versus Josh Jacobs. Is what it sounds like.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, Josh Jacobs isn't available because he's questionable. So they won't allow us to bet on individual players if they're questionable, even though he's definitely going to play.
Okay, well, that was audio for nothing. But why don't you talk about rival fantasy anyway? Since we're here.
I guess I didn't really have to tell the people that. I could have just put that in the private chat. But anyway, yeah, so it's joinrival.com/title tribe. And Jason, if you don't mind taking that away down there at the bottom so that they can see that. I don't want to lose your spot. But yeah, it's right here, joinrival.com/title tribe. It's the newest evolution in fantasy sports betting where you can bet from $1 bingo cards to, like I did, and lay down $20 on 20 different $1 bingo cards this week. Or you can place individual bets like I was about to do with George and Jason before that bad news, but where you can bet any amount, any dollar amount that you want to bet because you're confident in one player and you have a buddy that's confident in another player, and winner takes it. So pretty simply put, you can't just cheat and say, no, that's not what I meant, because it's all right there. And you guys know that I would try to cheat if I could. So that's joinrival.com/title tribe. Your first deposit of up to $200 is matched plus an additional $25 just for using that link. And if you're worried about the NFL season coming to an end and you don't really want to start up a new account because there's no more betting there once the NFL season ends, there is also baseball and basketball, so NBA and MLB, and we're even going to be doing kind of a friendly fire-esque rival sponsored rival themed show for Major League Baseball this spring as well. So stay tuned, and we appreciate your support.
All right. And then finally from K Shaw, this one's finally. Although I haven't looked deep down into the comments, there may be more. But hey, keep them coming. I like answering them. Kenneth Walker, Chuba Hubbard, or London? And this one's pretty easily Kenneth Walker and Chuba Hubbard for me. I'm not even giving reasons because I know you guys will have them. But that's as long as Walker's healthy and playing, I'm playing him. I think Chuba's got a good matchup.
No, I agree with you. London, on the London end, I will say that the Colts secondary, their defensive backs have looked a little weak the last couple of weeks, and that's kind of odd to me because all season long they've kind of been an anchor for that defense, and they've caused a lot of turnovers. And but here lately they've been a little bit slack. So hopefully that tightens up a bit. But I think even with the Colts defense playing a little slack, a little lackadaisical on the defensive back end, I'm still going to go with Walker and Chuba.
George?
Walker. I'm agreeing completely. Walker is 100% in, no questions asked, and I don't want to ride that Drake London train. It's a roller coaster ride all season. He'll probably go up today. And have a great game. I can't trust it. Not in the semifinals. Give me the guaranteed touches of Chuba Hubbard.
All right, Ramsaholic. Reed if he plays, Thielen or Sutton, pick two. I mean, it's pretty easily Reed if he plays in Sutton, and then obviously if Reed doesn't play, Thielen and Sutton. But Reed and Sutton for me. George.
Same. Reed and Sutton.
Yeah, me as well. And it's not really close.
It's tough because Thielen was so hot to start, so people still want to trust putting him in the lineup. But the last several weeks, and I don't have it right in front of me, but I was reading it earlier, Thielen's been bad the last couple weeks, and it's just that whole team is terrible.
And Jonathan Mingo has actually been picking it up. Jonathan Mingo has been playing better and better each week. So I don't know if he's stealing from Thielen or if the defenses are shifting of course, now I'm going to blank on his name. Quarterback, rookie.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young is finally starting to pick up on what the defense is giving him, even though it's still not super effective.
He can't hit him. He sees it now. He just can't hit him.
Maybe that's it. Maybe Mingo
Mingo
being taller and wider, he can just go up and get the bad throws. Maybe that's what it is.
All right, guys. Jay is asking Aaron Jones or Waddle today. Aaron Jones or Waddle. I don't know how you sit Waddle. I mean, I know the Cowboys have a tough secondary, right? That's the question.
Yeah, and Jones is likely going to be the guy, and it's against a really bad defense, the Carolina Panthers. Is A.J. Dillon out? Do we know that for sure yet?
I mean, it was trending that way. I haven't seen a full update, but it was trending. He was out. I'm looking it up now while George talks. Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, this is Aaron Jones going up against the worst run defense. Like, the reason you don't pass, quarterbacks struggle against the Carolina Panthers is not because the Carolina Panthers have a great shut down passing defense, it's because you run all over them. Give me Aaron Jones against that. The worst run defense in the NFL.
For awareness, Dylan is ready or is going to play today with broken thumb and all. But I don't know that would change anything for you guys. It's not like Dylan plays well when he plays.
No, it's not a matter of him playing well. It's a matter of how much is he going to take. Because I think this is close, personally, between Aaron Jones and Waddle. And if Dylan wasn't playing, and that gave even more opportunity for even a few more looks for Aaron Jones, and that was going to kind of break the tie for me. But I think I'm going to lean Waddle here because I still believe that there's a good chance that that Miami possibly wins this game against Dallas, or at the very least, I think it'll be a good game. I think both sides will have to score. Which is, I mean, that Miami offense was the reason why we weren't going to start the Dallas defense that's been winning games for people. Like, team defenses don't win games for people, but the Dallas team defense has been winning games for people all season, and we were benching them earlier in a question because of this Miami offense. So, like, Waddle's going to do Waddle things. But if Aaron Jones was getting all the opportunity, I would definitely stick with Aaron Jones. But I think just Dylan being there and taking away some of that opportunity is enough for me to kind of give the edge to Waddle. And then he says Monty or okay, that's
Cleveland or Eagles defense.
Did you give your answer, Jay?
I did. I said Waddle.
Oh, okay, all right.
So that's 2 for Waddle, 1 for Aaron Jones, unless George is changing because AJ Dillon, but I didn't think so. No, but
no.
2 for Waddle, 1 for Aaron Jones, and then we've got Cleveland or Eagles defense. I'm going to take Cleveland here, playing against the Texans without C.J. Stroud. Nico Collins is back, so that's a little bit of an upgrade, but I don't have much. Cindy, we have. Oh wait, I almost did it again, George. We got to take a deep breath, take a pause. Having mom and dad on the same show for the first time on a Sunday, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Coach. Good morning,
What's
Coach.
up?
Merry Christmas.
How we doing? Merry Christmas. Nice to see you guys.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I was just watching made breakfast, slept in late, man. Slept in late this morning,
Nice.
and
Nice.
we're watching Home Alone 2 right now. So I dipped out of there. I dipped out of there to get over here to hop in and say what's up.
Solid Christmas movie. We're gonna be watching Christmas movies. I'm not gonna watch much football today because we haven't watched any Christmas movies this year. So the family's got them all queued up and ready for me. So football later, but movies first.
Yeah,
nice.
I'll be checking the scores on my phone, of course.
Yes, man, I like it. I like the having Christmas on Monday should be like a yearly thing. Like having off Monday, getting Saturday and Sunday to kind of build up to it. It's been like super relaxing. We wrapped presents on like 2 days before Christmas, which for us is absurd. Like we're doing it the night of, so it's like I just feel nice and settled down, man.
Where's your Cowboys Christmas hat?
I don't know. I got like, dude, I'm a trinket guy and like I got stuff, dude. Like when I grabbed my computer, I also had like a onesie I'm putting on later. You've seen it. I just I didn't want to dive into getting through stuff because it'd take too long. But you guys would be done with the episode by the time I found all my stuff.
So big game, right, for your Cowboys and the Dolphins today?
Yeah, Joe. I mean, the Dolphins are legit. Dolphins are, and they're built to compete with us. I think with that running game, they're probably one of the, if not the most explosive offenses in the NFL. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be fun to watch. So
I do think that like whoever loses this game, the narrative of can't beat good teams. Again, outside the Cowboys win against the Eagles, it's like the one win both of your teams have as far as like playing against good competition and actually coming out ahead. fair or
Right, so
unfair. I mean, you guys
here's
play
what
the schedule in front of you.
Here's what the
But
narrative will be, and I think Coach will agree. If the Dolphins win, it'll be because the Cowboys struggle on the road, and they can't stop any decent team with the run game. If the Dolphins lose, it'll be because they just can't beat good teams. Any
Yeah.
team with a good record, they can't beat. And honestly, neither of those two narratives are true. But that those will be the narratives because you can't look at this game objectively and say, well, two good teams played each other, and unfortunately, a good team had to lose. We can't
Right.
say that. We have to find a narrative to push because narratives are fun. Whether they're true or not, they're fun to push. So we have to push the narrative.
Yeah.
well, I
Yeah.
mean,
That's what it is.
it would be true though that the Dolphins have not beaten a good team if they lose.
We've beaten. I'm sorry, we dropped a 70 on a team that is above 500 and just outside the playoffs. I don't
They're not
care
above
what
500.
you say. They're 7-7. They're 500.
They're not above. You said they're at 500. That's not above 500.
They're
Being
at
500 is not above 500.
And when they
All right,
win
kids,
today, they'll be above
calm
500.
You know what's going to be like if the Cowboys lose, they'll get another shot against Detroit. But what's going to be real frustrating is that narrative is going to carry over to the playoffs because likely the Cowboys are going to be the 5 seed and they're going to play the 4 seed, which is going to be a bad team. And even if we win a playoff game, we are that, so it's going to carry over until a
Yep.
really, really tough game, which would likely be our second game. And if we lose to the 49ers are loaded. So it's like, if we get knocked out, the narrative will carry over to the off season, but really I don't know. It's the 49ers thing to lose. That they're like, if Purdy gets hurt, if McCaffrey gets hurt, that's the only way the 49ers aren't winning the Super Bowl, in my opinion. It's their thing to lose this year.
You don't think Sam Darnold could step in and lead the 49ers?
He could. He could.
You absolutely think so.
Oh,
But I don't
sorry
know.
for laughing.
I don't think
I
so.
don't know.
I don't think so.
If McCaffrey's healthy, he'd have a much better chance. If he's not healthy, no way.
Let's see. Where are we on? Oh, we never did answer the Monty or Ty Chandler. Now I got 4 of us on here, so we can answer this 4 ways.
Ty Chandler, easy.
Monty, easy.
Even so, and I don't know if you saw this morning that Madison is playing. Not that I think Madison's going to do well, but he might steal some touches. Although, again, Gibbs is taking a bunch of Monty's touches too. So I got 2 answers. Coach, what do you got?
The Lions are actually pretty good against the run. They've given up. Oh, so are the Vikings. They're right next. They've both given up the same amount of points per game to opposing running backs. I'm going to go with Monty because I think Monty's got a better chance of getting into the end zone. So that gives him. I think it's even, but Monty is more likely to get into the end zone. So give me that back. I'm going to go with David Montgomery.
And I'm not going to make it a tie. I am going to say David Montgomery as well. So 3 for Montgomery, 1 for Ty Chandler.
Now
that's
Bible bet was sent to you, George.
I'll take it. I'll take it. While you guys are going on your diatribes here, I've just been clicking through Rival Fantasy, finding bets to place. I actually cleaned up last week on some of these bets, so I'm happy to sit here and listen to you guys talk football and go to rivalfantasy.com/title tribe, sign up, get your first deposit matched up to $250 or $200. Using our code, they'll give you a free 25 as well, and you can do what I'm doing: sit here, scroll through Rival while these guys are talking, and do these Rival challenges, set a couple of bingo cards, have a great time.
How about George throwing in diatribe?
George is way smarter than he looks.
George, man, shout out to you.
I'm hoping I'm smarter than I look. Have you not seen this face?
Nice way.
Well, guys, I do want to. We do have one more. We've got another member of the T2T family here. It's going to be a crowded room here in a moment here on Christmas Eve. We are going to get to all the questions, I promise. We always do. But before we get to our next one, I do want to bring in Will T2T, and he is actually representing the Cowboys with the Santa hat.
How we doing, fellas?
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I just wanted to come in, say hello, say Merry Christmas to everybody, and just, see how things are going. I got to check on Coach, make sure he's staying in line over there.
Yeah. How about 3/5 of the show right now is in the state of Florida?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, both of those guys.
Jason, where are you at?
I'm up here, but I'm in Merritt Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're on the Space Coast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right now I'm in Boca Raton.
Okay.
Nice.
Beautiful. It's warm.
It's warm here. Yeah, y'all from up north.
I love
It
how
looks
y'all
almost
do.
like you're on a boathouse.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm at my mother-in-law's.
Looks like he's in a back porch of some kind.
Yeah. Everybody else is inside, so I just kind of
Screened in back porch. Yeah.
pop out and say hello and let you guys help these fine folks get their starting sits.
Yeah, look, it's all these guys made it to their fantasy playoffs either because of or in spite of Toilets to Titles. Oh,
right. Oh,
we
that's
got
my
a family
wife.
member.
That's my wife. Say hi, Leah.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Merry Christmas.
I'll be right there. They said Merry Christmas.
Backbone. The wives are the backbone of this network for sure.
She's
For
taking
sure.
care of the baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She's like, get your butt off this thing. It's Christmas Eve. What are you doing?
Yeah, I am going to go, but I just wanted to say hello. You guys have a great Merry Christmas. I hope everybody does well today. Let's go Cowboys. Coach, we know we need a big win today. This is going to determine the rest of the season, and you guys have a good one.
Merry Christmas,
Take
Will.
care,
Merry
Will.
Christmas,
Nice seeing
Will.
you, buddy.
Merry Christmas. See you later.
Have a Merry Christmas.
All right, and that was Will, and we are back. Let's see, we've got Nate here saying, "What's up, fellas? Merry Creedsmas to my Florida pals." So, I don't know about all of that. Merry Christmas, guys. Who do you need to win for a Christmas miracle? Look, we need to go back and let me redraft a bunch of my teams from before the season started, because my teams
killed me,
did he?
dude. 0 points last night.
Yeah. That hurts.
Gabe Davis.
Right? You can't start him in your tight end spot, George, but that's,
he might as well. He's nothing more than a big tight end.
He's giving you 0 for weeks on end, and then he goes off. It's just, fantasy football doesn't make sense some weeks. It's fine. It's fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which players are getting Cole in their stocking this year? Gabe Davis is one for sure. Sounds like Pat Freiermuth. Yeah, is getting one. Who's getting Cole in your stocking, George? I can guess. I'm guessing it's Arthur Smith.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. Listen, he's not getting Cole from just me. He's getting Cole from the entire fantasy world, the entire NFL, every running back ever played the game. Like, he is, I can't wait till they fire him. I am going to be so happy.
We usually are anti-firing on this show.
Oh, no, not when it comes to Arthur Smith, we're not. Absolutely not.
Merry Christmas,
Arthur. By firing Arthur Smith, that is doing the world a favor. That is saving so many people's jobs. Because, listen, I get it. 2 years ago, Cordell Patterson was a thing. He was a great running back, great story. Last year, Tyler Algier, great running back, had over 1,000 yards, great story. But you went out and you drafted a guy number 8 overall, and you decide, hey, let me use the 2 guys who have had the last 2 years have been good, and not use the guy who I drafted number 8 overall. Are you kidding me? And then you got Kyle Pitts and you got Drake London, and yeah, I don't want to use those guys. Let me use Jonnu Smith. Let me use Mac Hollins. Come on.
Juan Pena. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Juan. All right. So we've got Jacoby Myers, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Lockett, Noah Brown, Cooper, Ford, Connor, Hill, Jacobs, White, or Gibson. We need a wide receiver 1 and 2, a running back 1 and 2, and a flex. Oh, we've also got Rice and Jefferson up there. So let's start with the wide receivers. We've got Rashee Rice, Justin Jefferson, Myers, Samuel Lockett, Brown, Cooper, Ford. No, that's not a running back. Okay. So, I mean, are we all going to say Rashee Rice and Justin Jefferson as the two wide receivers?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I have one other one I'm considering, but I'm going to hold that for a flex.
For the flex.
Yeah.
And then we have running backs 1 and 2. We got Ford, Connor, Hill, Jacobs, White, or Gibson. We need 2 running backs here. I'm for sure going to say Connor. Connor's been playing lights out. And then I'm also going to go, because Justin talked me earlier into him, I'm going to say Josh Jacobs. So for me, it's Connor and Jacobs. Jacobs had a big game against the Chiefs last time they played. So if he's healthy and playing, I'm playing him.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'm going Connor and Jacobs as well.
Yeah, I agree.
George?
Yep, same here.
All right, and now we need a flex. And so we all took the same 2. We got Jacoby Myers, Curtis Samuel, Tyler Lockett, Noah Brown, Cooper, Ford, White, Hill, or Gibson. And for me, I can't sit Amari Cooper with Joe Flacco as the quarterback because Joe Flacco has been targeting Cooper. He loves him and David Njoku, and it's really been those 2 guys only, and he's throwing a ton for a bunch of yards. So for me, it's going to be Cooper.
I'm going Coop because Coop is streaky. He's real streaky. And like, as being a Cowboys fan, watching him there, if Raiders fans went, like, he goes on runs. He's in the middle of a run, so I'm riding the wave. I think I'd go Ford if I'm going for floor. I think Ford is like going to get you 8 to 10, but I think Cooper has the possibility to get you 15 plus. At this time of year in the flex play, give me the boom candidate, and that's Coop.
Everybody agree there?
Yeah, I was going with Cooper. I was debating Cooper over Rashee Rice, to be honest. So I'm going to go with Cooper in my flex.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll mention there is, and I haven't looked to see, I think, are all the games for Rice and Jefferson today? Are those today games? Or those? That's tomorrow's game, right? The Rashee Rice is tomorrow.
Yes.
So you want to put Cooper? You want to put Cooper in your wide receiver spot and Rice in your flex spot, and that way, if something happens to Rice tonight, you can have some flexibility there. So that's the only thing I'll change, is I want to put Cooper in my starting spot because he's today, and Rice in my flex spot for tomorrow.
Right.
Cooper was the one that I was debating when I said I had a receiver in mind but I'll save him for flex and all for the same reasons. But I'll also add that that Cleveland Browns defense is going up against Houston with a backup quarterback that did not play super well last week. So that means they should have a lot of time of possession and decent field position this week as well, which also bodes well for Cooper. But that also kind of bodes well for Ford as well. So I really wouldn't hate the Ford start, but just like Coach said, like if one of these guys are going to get you 20 points, it's going to be Cooper. And this is the playoffs. You probably need the points.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yep. All right, Juan. Merry Christmas. Thank you for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bobby Hams. Madison is active. Moss is not. Ty Chandler versus Detroit or Jonathan Taylor versus Atlanta. I mean, it's a Jonathan Taylor question. I have to go to Justin first.
All right, and I actually need to get going after this one. Got a lot of Christmas stuff to prepare and get ready, but yeah, Madison's active. Yeah, Zach Moss is not. Ty Chandler versus Detroit or Jonathan Taylor. I'm gonna go Jonathan Taylor, with or without Madison being active. Like that entire offense has to run through Jonathan Taylor, and he has the safest floor of any player in the league week in and week out. He doesn't always pop off, but definitely always gets you double digits. So I can't see Ty Chandler keeping up with that this week against Detroit. But so that's my answer, Jonathan Taylor. And I'm going to take off. I'm going go finish up what I got to finish up. But you all have a very Merry Christmas. Appreciate you, you guys, you two, George and Jason, for all you've done for the network with all this season and everything else. Like I'm not going to sit here and list everything because I'll forget half of it. You guys know I have the memory of Dory from Finding Nemo. But John, love you, brother. Have a Merry Christmas. You and your family have a great one, and I'll see you guys.
Justin, do me
Merry
one
Christmas,
favor
Justin.
before you leave. Just tell Lori we all said Merry Christmas as well.
Absolutely, I will do. Yep. Thank
George,
you.
just text her later.
I was going to, but that's not the point.
Yeah, definitely leaving on that note.
Yeah. So
right.
I'm going to go with JT as well. I have him as a dud on my dudes and duds weekly, but Chandler's also got a tough matchup. The Lions are pretty strong against the run, and he's also got Madison. Whereas JT, who's going to share touches with him, Trey Sermon, and he played well, but he's the third, fourth string running back out there in Indianapolis. So I think Jonathan Taylor will get the volume. I think it's more likely he has a productive day than Chandler.
And I was going to agree, Jonathan Taylor for me as well.
Yep.
For me, it's pretty easy. George?
Oh, it's JT. It's not even remotely close.
I do want to mention we do have a couple of comments in here as far as we talked about best and worst Christmas gifts. We'll get to those towards the end of the show because I do like Bobby's, but we'll get to that if we get through all these questions and then we'll talk about that because I definitely have a worst Christmas gift to talk about too, but we can do that later. Jerry Bagshaw says pick 2: DK, Devontae Adams, Barkley, or Debo.
I don't know how. I don't. The way Debo Samuel has been playing, I don't know how you cannot play him. He's been absolutely on a tear the last 4 or 5 games. So I don't know how you're going to sit Debo. You can't. The other 3 are really good options, though.
I'm going Debo and DK. I think DK with Geno back, the Titans are horrendous against the pass. They're letting up 39.9 points per game to opposing wide receivers. Adams is probably the safer play, but I could see DK getting in the end zone multiple times this week. He's got a big, juicy matchup.
He does have a phenomenal matchup.
I'm just gonna say I'm going with Coach here. I was just looking at some over unders, and the over under for Seattle's higher than it is for Devontae, and I don't know. Look, Adams had a good game the last time these two played. Kansas City is generally pretty good against the pass, though. So I'm gonna go, and DK's been on a bit of a heater himself, so I'm gonna go Debo and DK, and it sucks to sit Barkley, but he's been garbage. And
he's got the toughest matchup of all of these guys.
The Eagles have been better against the run lately, or worse against the run. Sorry, lately they've been bad. As they've played some tougher ground matchups.
Right.
So.
But they could sell out. They have no threat. The Giants cannot. They're not worried about DeVito, and if they are, they're worried about him being active in the pocket, which is part of the ground game. So they're gonna sell. They're gonna stack the box. They're gonna have a spy on DeVito. They're gonna completely commit to stopping anything the Giants can do on the ground.
Hey Jason, hold on one second, because you're gonna get a kick out of this because you're always talking about how I should just text Lori.
I can't see it, but well, good, very nice. As she should. I know who her husband is.
Yeah.
All right. So
saying Merry Christmas.
So that's 2 of us, right? DK and Debo, and George. Were you in agreement?
Listen, I get to take the Jason because I really did not want to sit Devontae Adams, so I'm going to say Devontae Adams, and if I'm right, I could say, hey, look, I was right. And if he takes your 2 guys' advice, which you probably should, and goes with DK, then you know what? I was wrong, but he started the right guy, so it's a win all around for me. So I appreciate you not putting me on the spot.
It's a solid play, and I think I pioneered that move, and I'm impressed by your usage.
Thank you.
So I saw in the private chat, Coach, you're going to get back to Home Alone 2 with the family.
Yeah.
That's a solid move. I'd go do that too. So
It is. Hey, Coach,
Yeah,
if you're looking for another really, really good Christmas movie, Rambo: First Blood.
Rambo.
Phenomenal Christmas movie. I proved it to Jason yesterday. It is a Christmas movie. There is a scene when he's in the jail where they have the Christmas tree up and they got a snowman over to the left. It's suddenly now First Blood is a Christmas movie.
All right. We're gonna. I know the What If series released a Christmas episode today, so we'll probably watch that too. But I appreciate you guys and you guys. Like, it's been a blessing working with you, and super proud and always impressed with what you guys are able to do, not only with the community but with charity work and whatnot. So keep it up. Keep up the good work. Everybody listening at home, we appreciate you. Get in the Gilded Title Tribe chat because we are nonstop. This conversation continues in there. Reach out to us. Email toiletstotitles@gmail.com. Maybe one of the guys can throw that up at the bottom there. Email us. Say, hey, we want to get in the Title Tribe chat. We'll get you in there and we'll continue this conversation. So everybody, have a Merry Christmas, and I'll catch you all later on.
See you, Coach. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Coach.
And as he mentioned, you can catch Coach and all of us in our Gilded chat. Email toiletstitles@gmail.com to get in. It's kind of like Discord, but better, especially with all of us here. We're all in there. So now I get to play the game of finding where we work because I put up toiletstitles@gmail.com. I think I was here. Merry Christmas Eve, guys. Who would you play? Rashee Rice or Nico Collins? I think we're both solidly going to be on the Rashee Rice side.
No.
Okay.
Nico Collins. You play Nico Collins till Nico Collins realizes he's Nico Collins. I don't care about the matchup. I understand it is.
I care about the quarterback. Stroud's not playing.
Right. Stroud's not playing, is he?
No, he's not. Nico Collins is about to remember he's Nico Collins.
Oh man, that's brutal. I forgot Stroud was injured. Dude, I was all teed up to go why you should start Nico Collins, and then Jason's like, no quarterback, you dirty boy.
Stroud's on the naughty list. So you don't get to play.
All right, fine. Listen, Rashee Rice is a great option. Truly, he is. He's clearly the number one option in Kansas City. His breakout really started about week 12 when he had eight catches for 107 yards and a touchdown on 10 targets. He's scored at least 14.4 PPR points in 4 games in a row. He's had at least 9 targets and 7 catches in each of his outing over that span with 3 touchdowns. Raiders have allowed a receiver to score at least 13.4 PPR points in 8 of their last 9 games. So, yes, Rice is a very good option. I love Nico Collins. He's been an absolute stud this year. I'm glad to see that he has had the season that he is having. I'm extremely happy for him. But, yeah, you got to go Rashee Rice with the backup quarterback there. I forgot that C.J. Stroud was not playing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because if C.J. Stroud was playing, it'd be Nico all day long. Yeah. Even with the amount of participation that Rice has had, being the number one, being on the field, I think he's on the field for like 90-something% of routes now. Like he's up there. He's getting a lot of play, which he should have from the beginning. But yeah, I mean, look, in Vegas's defense, other than the Chargers, apparently doesn't scare anyone. So I would do Rice over Nico. I think I probably would do it even with CJ Stroud, but without it, for sure, I'm going Rice. Go ahead, George.
Without it, definitely changes my opinion. Now, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here setting my rival fantasy league lineup semifinal game, and I'm torn. I need 2.
Okay.
I need either Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift, or Chris Godwin.
Oh, wow.
I need 2 of those. one will be a running back, 2,
What-
and the other will be a flex.
So Brees.
Brees Hall, who's got a decent matchup with the Commanders.
Yeah.
Swift against the Giants, or Chris Godwin against I forget who the Bucs are playing. Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, and it's a bad Jacksonville secondary, but I think I don't chase Godwin's last week. I think he could come out and have another big game. You know, it's not it's not a coincidence that the Bucs offense looked the best it's looked all year, getting Godwin involved like they did. You know, all of a sudden you have 2 wide receivers involved in playing well, and you know, all of a sudden the perfect passer rating and 30 plus points for the first time all season, and you know, there's a reason why that happened. But I don't chase Godwin points there. I go ahead and play Swift and Hall, and I don't look back, because as much as I want to think that that's the new norm for them, it could also have been a 1-game fluke against, you know, a reeling Packers defense. So
I agree. That's what I have in right now. Is I have both Swift and Hall in. My last question for you: quarterback.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask while Justin was here, because I kind of valued his opinion because it involves
Minshew.
But would you go with Minshew, Geno Smith, or Joe Flacco?
Well, I'm going to have to say Joe Flacco, because he's the only one I have in my top 10. Although at the time I wrote it, I didn't know Geno Smith was actually going to be playing.
And he's got a juicy Tennessee matchup.
Good. Yeah, you know what? I probably put Geno Smith in when I wrote the top 10. Geno Smith wasn't an option because we didn't know about his health. I probably bumped Geno Smith over Joe Flacco.
Okay.
But you can ask that in our Gilded, again, toiletstitles@gmail.com to get in our Gilded. You can ask that in the start sit questions, and the guys will jump in and help me out and make sure I'm not going crazy. But I do like Geno this week against the Tennessee defense that's pretty dreadful against both the rush and the pass lately. So Stephen Varner, we're going to get back to the listener questions. Stephen Varner says, would you start Zeke or Roshan over Saquon Barkley since he's facing the Philly defense? I would play Zeke today over Saquon Barkley and Roshan, but Zeke for me. Just too much usage there for me to sit him even over Barkley, who is obviously a better talent, but on a much worse offense, which is bad considering the Patriots are terrible.
How many muches can we get you to say?
As many as you need me to say to fill time. Although we have a bunch of questions, so we don't really need to do that.
No, I was just asking. I think I would go with Elliott over both of those. And to be saying start Zeke Elliott over Saquon Barkley in your semifinal is absolutely ludicrous. We should not be doing that, but yet here we both are.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in this day and age, Zeke should not be somebody you start over Barkley, but that offense has been dreadful. Yep. And, you know, he got 9 total carries or 9 total touches, I think, last week.
Yeah, it was an absolutely brutal game. He absolutely killed you in, well, I say you, but he absolutely killed me in quite a few fantasy leagues last week.
I feel like Zeke had 9 total touches on their first drive.
He probably did, to be honest. If we're being honest, he probably did.
So, let's see. Would you start both running backs, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane? I mean, this is super dependent on what your other options are, but yeah, I have no problem starting them both. I have Achane outside my top 10 this week, but he's definitely not outside my top 24.
I need to know who your other options are that you would start over Devon Achane.
But would you, like, in a vacuum, let's say, I mean, so
I can't do it in a vacuum because I don't know what the other options are. Like,
but
yeah,
you
okay,
would,
yeah. I got no problem starting either one of those guys, sure. But
okay,
I mean,
so Achane or Ty Chandler?
I'd probably go Achane.
Okay. Chan or Ezekiel Elliott?
Zeke.
Chan or Saquon Barkley?
I'm actually probably going to go Saquon there.
Let's see. Just as like I want to see where you're gauging him because Chan or Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard.
Chan or Javonte Williams.
That one I'm probably going to go Chan.
And then Chan versus Devin Singletary.
Give me the devil.
Okay. So those are the kind of I'm not saying like you can start Chan together, but the odds that like
he's not a must start is what I'm saying. Like
yeah, absolutely.
He's not a absolute top 15 to 20 absolute must start. He's not, and that's why I need to know who you're going to start over him because you might have a better option in my opinion. I just don't like blanket statements of saying would you start both these guys and not know who you're starting them over.
No, I got you. Frank League start 2, Jaden Reed, J.M. Williams.
Jameson Williams. And I would go with Jaden Reed.
Well, he says pick two, and
I guess I'm picking both.
Hold on.
No. Here it is.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, there's the full question. Yep. Jaden Reed, Jamison Williams, Terry McLaurin, and Dalton Schultz.
Oof. Reed and Schultz for me.
Reed and Williams for me. They're getting him more and more involved week in and week out. I get it. You get bonus points for tight ends in the league, right? But I like Jamison Williams there. So we're split. Steven, we're split. So if you want to go into Gilded and ask your question there to break the tie of Jamison Williams or Dalton Schultz. But for me, it's Jamison Williams just because they're more and more active. They're using him more and in creative ways. They're actually trying to get him the ball to make it so it wasn't a wasted pick. And he's doing more with it each week. Dalton Schultz with a backup quarterback. I get backup quarterbacks and tight ends are a thing. But I don't like it. So let's see. I am not going to try and Costanianos, Giftopolis, Media Studies.
I'm going to guess he's Greek.
I'm just going to call him KGM. KGM asks Aaron Jones or Zeke in a full PPR.
I think I'm going to go... Aaron Jones has got the Carolina pick. I'm going to go Aaron Jones. I like Zeke. I like Zeke. I really do.
It's super close for me. It's not that close. Looking at my rankings, it's not that close. I'm going to take Zeke. And I hate to say that. I'm going to take Zeke. He is their offense. He's 100% of their offense.
I mean, Bailey Zappi's their offense, but
stop it. All right, so we tied there. Look, if you absolutely, sorry, I'm just checking to see. We got AJ Dillon's gone from questionable to healthy. Kenneth Walker has changed from questionable to healthy. I'm looking at the actives real quick because I got a active today. Active Madison Dillon, Dontavian Wicks, Nico Collins, Chigakonkwo. Inactive Will Levis, Jaden Reed. Oh, Reed is not playing, so that'll change a couple of our answers. And Christian Watson. Inactive. So let's go back up.
That's going to make me like Aaron Jones even more.
I agree. I'll take Jones with Reed out. Also, going back to this question here, I'm going to take Williams and Schultz.
Yeah, I'm going to go Williams and Schultz as well.
Especially because they're starting Sam Howell, and they're not switching quarterbacks there. And Terry McLaurin played good last week, but it was only after Howell went out of the game. Let's see. getting through some of these. Merry Christmas. Sadly, I have no questions. I got knocked out last week, but hope you all have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you for all the help and guidance throughout the year. Well, Dustin, thank you for watching each week. I'm sorry you got knocked out, but look for us all off season long. We'll have all kinds of information and shows and fun stuff to do, including our mock or our drafts that are not football related. We have the fun day drafts, which are always awesome and a good time. So look out for us in all off season. And again, if you want to keep watching us, next Sunday we should be here for your championship week on my daughter's birthday, Christmas or New Year's Eve. So let's see. Are you starting Chandler or Taylor over Swift? I would start Taylor over Swift.
I would rank these Taylor, Swift, Chandler, and yes, that was intentional.
Yeah, and I would do the same thing. Okay. With Jaden Reed unlikely to play, should I put in Wicks over Alec Pierce? Not Damian. I've dropped him everywhere. LOL. PPR.
I would go. You're probably going to say Wicks. And
I do want to say Wicks.
So, let me see. Yeah. My only concern is usage, right? Like, they don't really involve the wide receivers that much playing Carolina because their running game is so bad. Like, you could just run all over them.
Well, keep in mind,
with Christian
Wicks
Watson
does get some.
Jaden Reed, with Christian Watson and Jaden Reed out, like, I understand why you would want to use him.
Well, also keep in mind, they use Wicks on the ground. Now, that was a lot while Aaron Jones was out. Doesn't mean they're going to stop. So,
yeah, I'm going to go Alec Pierce with no Michael Pittman. I don't see the pathway with the volume for Wicks, to be honest. They're not going to need to throw the ball. They can literally take the ball out of Jordan Love's hand this game and still win.
Okay, so we split. Sorry, K-Shaw. But again, you can ask in the Gilded chat and break the tie, or you can, the arguments we just had. It's up to you. And then we've got another Noah Brown, or we've got a Noah Brown or Wicks start, and I can't get away from Wicks if I said to play him over Alec Pierce. I think Noah Brown's a better start than Alec Pierce too, but I'm going to say Wicks with a backup quarterback there in Houston.
So no Tank Dell, no Nico Collins. I'm going to go Noah Brown here. He's going to be the number one receiver for the Texans. Against
Nico is in, remember?
That's right.
Nico's in, the quarterback's out.
Yeah, that's right. He's got a calf injury.
Yeah.
I mean, he just had a huge game. 8 for 82 and a touchdown on 11 targets against the Titans. Granted, it's the Titans. Brown has had. I'm going Noah Brown. Brown scored at least 22.2 fantasy points in each of his in Week 9, Week 10, and Week 15 when he was slotted as the starter. Brown has had a pretty good connection with Case Keenum in Week 15. So it's the whole backup to backup thing. Like when they practice, like Noah Brown practices a lot with Case Keenum because he's not a starting wide receiver for the most part. I'm going to go with that matchup. I think they're going to, in order for the Texans to have an opportunity to win this game against Cleveland, they're going to have to throw the ball. Where in the matchup against Carolina, they're not going to have to throw the ball to win. So I'm going to go with Noah Brown here, which I know does not help Zeb 937 at all, but that's just I just don't see a pathway for Wicks to have a decent game for them to win.
All right, so that's one more that we split, but that's okay. Like I said, you can go to Gilded, or you could have listened to our arguments there and decide. We've got Jerry Bagshaw saying sit one. I mean, this one's pretty easily ETN for me.
Yep. No,
Playing
no,
against.
no need to
Well,
go. No need to go to Gilded for this one.
no. Etienne's playing one of the toughest, if not the toughest, run defenses. He actually hasn't been that good, even playing against weaker opponents. Pacheco is the engine that drives that KC offense. Walker's played like a man possessed, and Debo the same. So of these, I'm gonna go ahead and say Etienne, which seems crazy. McD says, "Merry Christmas, boys."
Merry Christmas.
Would you play Stephen Farner says, would you play Roshan Johnson over Javonte Williams since he's facing the New England defense? Man, that's ugly. But with Foreman already ruled out for personal reasons and Javonte looking bad, I don't know that I can play Javonte Williams. I think I'd play Roshan Johnson here. George, agree or disagree?
I think I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going with Roshan here.
I mean, it's not pretty for either one. But if there's any game where they actually are going to feature Roshan Johnson and it's a really bad rush defense in Arizona, I mean, I think 32nd ranked rush defense.
The Cardinals, the Cardinals are atrocious against the run.
Yeah.
They're almost as bad as, in my opinion, they're almost as bad as the Panthers.
Yeah, for sure. So, let's see. WL Music, who used to be Black Body Absorber. No questions today. Wanted to stop by and say thank you for all your help this season, Jason and Rich. I mean, no George, but that's okay.
It's okay. It's all right.
All the best to you and families this holiday season.
I'll tell Rich that you said this.
It's okay. I'm sure he'd make George, but that's okay.
Wyatt's a good dude. I'm just busting his bubbles.
Yeah, we love Wyatt. Thanks for watching again. Okay, so Nathan says, down big after starting Mixon and Cook.
Ooh.
Would you start Fields or Mayfield this week? Gut says Fields, but the Bucks need to win. I mean, look, the thing is when the Bucks need to win, that's often when they lose poorly. You can't sit Fields against Arizona. The matchup's too good.
No. It's Fields.
Look, I did put Mayfield in my top 10 this week. He's been top 10. He's been actually top 10, I think, more weeks than he's been a quarterback one more weeks than Dak this year. That doesn't mean he has the ceiling of any of these guys. And if you're down big and you need a ceiling, to me, it's Fields, because not only should he be able to pass, but he could also run. So, could Baker have another big week? I mean, I hope so. I'm a Buccaneers fan, but you can't sit Fields against Arizona.
No, this is 100% start Justin Fields.
The real MVP, Pollard or Bijan? I mean, it should be this should be easy, and it should be Bijan. But does Arthur Smith actually use Bijan this week, George?
Listen, I mean, he's coaching for his job, so I would hope he does. But I mean, you really want me to try to get into Arthur Smith's head, and that just, I'm good. I am not that good.
I mean, the matchup's better for Bijan.
Matchup is 100% better than for Bijan. Pollard, I get it. I'm a Dolphins fan. I get it. But the Dolphins is a terrible matchup for Pollard. Can he do something he's done very few times this year and break a long one? Yeah, absolutely. Dolphins have given up some long runs. But since week 5 or 6, whenever Jalen Ramsey came back, this Dolphins team has really picked it up on the defensive side of the ball. And right now they're a top 5 team against the run. So him coming back has allowed other players to shift into different positions, and they're just clicking on defense right now. So, I mean, I would go Bijan, but but don't ask me to get into Arthur Smith's head. I can't do that.
So you're saying Bijan, I'm saying Bijan. And, it's scary because, again, just because it's Arthur Smith, but, like, the Colts are a much better matchup. So you got to go. I think you got to go with Bijan. The tough part about saying he's coaching for his job is he was coaching for his job last week against the worst rush defense in the league, or the second worst rush defense in the league. And, yeah, that didn't work out for them.
Trust me, I know.
Bryce says Aaron Jones or Monty facing CMC, Amon-Ra, AJ, and Rashad White. So I have Monty ranked one spot higher than Aaron Jones, like just literally one spot higher. But I'm gonna, because you're facing CMC, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, and Rashad White, who have all been scoring pretty high. I'm gonna say Aaron Jones because I think Jones has the ceiling, whereas Monty has the floor.
Yeah, I would go Aaron Jones here.
I think ceiling versus floor there, and that's in Pollard versus Bijan. That's full PPR. I think that doesn't change my opinion. It's still Bijan for me.
Yep.
Let's see. Hey, Landy says, Merry Christmas Eve, guys. 3 questions. Cooper or Ridley? And that one's tough for me.
I'm going Ridley here.
Man, I'm going Cooper.
Okay, I'll make... Because it's close. It's close.
Well, so, look, Ridley has an amazing matchup. He's the only... you want limited targets available for your wide receivers. That's both Cooper and Ridley, basically. The secondary for the Bucs is terrible, but Ridley has put up more dud games than you can imagine this year. And keep Strange should be touchdowns. Don't go his way. He puts a hand down before. It's just weird stuff with Ridley. Cooper's getting targeted big time by Flacco. Over the last couple of weeks, Cooper's been on a heater. So for me, it's Cooper. But I could say it this way: if you're like the last guy, where you're facing CMC, Amon-Ra, AJ, and Rashad White, maybe I'd say play Ridley because he has huge boom potential. Whereas I think Cooper for sure has the safer floor and has some boom potential. So for me, it's Cooper, but I could be talked into Ridley if you absolutely desperately needed a bunch of points, and I almost used one of our curse words.
So the last 3 games for Calvin Ridley, he's been pretty bad.
Yeah.
The last 3 games, 4 for 26, 4 for 53, 5 for 39, no touchdowns in any of those games, right?
But he's missed touchdowns by freaky, one of his
extremely freaky misses. But the one thing I can't shake in the last 2 games, 13 targets, 12 targets.
And those targets are much better.
He's getting high volume targets. They are giving this guy double-digit targets each of the last 2 weeks. The matchup is a prime matchup. They are definitely fighting for their playoff lives right now. They need this win to maintain in the playoffs and atop their division. I'm gonna go with Calvin Ridley. I was not swayed.
Okay, so we split that one. Let me get back to this. I was Bijan or Achan. That's Bijan for me.
Yeah, I already said that earlier when you asked me.
Okay, and then Njoku or Goddard, and I think I'm sticking with Njoku.
Man, Joe Flacco loves his tight ends. I mean, he was so good.
And Njoku's been incredible the last 2 weeks. Incredible. Ever since Flacco got there, basically. Okay. Let's see. Wyatt says, "My apologies, George. I know who you are. I need more coffee."
It's good. It's all good, Wyatt. It's all good, brother.
Let's see. Stephen Varner, Mayfield or Trevor Lawrence? I don't have Trevor Lawrence in my top 10, but I spent all week thinking he wasn't going to play. So, until yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and say Mayfield against Jacksonville secondary over Trevor Lawrence with the reduced amount of weapons.
Yeah. I'm also concerned about the injury as well. So I'm gonna go with Mayfield here as well.
Okay, so 2 for Mayfield. Does Wicks get
Anybody
in my
disagree?
lineup?
Does anybody on the panel disagree? No. Okay.
Doesn't seem like it. No.
I just wanted to make sure.
Steven says, "Does Wicks get in my lineup over Ford or Javante? I'm the underdog, 0.5 PPR." I mean, Ford hasn't played well lately. I still think I leave Ford in against the Texans over Wicks. And I think I leave Javante in over Wicks as well. Do you agree or disagree, George? You haven't said Wicks all day. I can't imagine you're starting now, but you might. You might surprise me.
I'm not going to surprise you. And what is it with all this Wicks disrespect that I'm giving? Like, he is a good player. He's been playing great. He absolutely is. I'm just not a fan of the matchup. I don't think they're going to need to throw the ball to beat the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah. Wyatt says, "Since we have time, Tua or Purdy, 6 points touchdown. Thank you." And Jason and George, I'm going to miss Sunday mornings here. Yeah, we got one more at least. We should be here next Sunday morning. Well. Yeah, so we got one more, and then we'll switch it up and do, I think, a Sunday night show maybe. I don't know. We'll do something, but we'll be here Sundays for sure. We just got to figure that out. But since we have time, George, Tua or Purdy this week? 6 point passing touchdowns.
Man, I'm a fan of both these teams, as you know. I can easily switch from a 49ers fan to a Dolphins fan like nobody's business. Sorry. I'm going to go with Purdy here, to be honest, though. The way he's been playing, it's been absolutely incredible. I think for the Dolphins to beat the Cowboys, they're going to have to run the ball. I think that's exactly the way I think they approach this game. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy because I think Purdy's going to have to like the 49ers. I get it; they have Christian McCaffrey, but I think they're going to struggle against the run, against that Baltimore Ravens team. So I think that the way that they're going to beat them is spread them out and throw the ball, and so I'm going to go with Purdy.
And I'm in agreement with you. I've got Purdy 4th and Tua 7th on the week. Both, good plays, but of the two, I think Purdy, for a lot of the reasons George said, I think they're gonna the formula to the Cowboys is to run on them. And I think
it's running in motion, which is
and they have
that they absolutely do. But I'm going with Purdy here.
I do want to go back to Dustin's comment here. He has no questions because he got knocked out last week. Here's the thing. That just means you don't have enough teams.
Probably.
You got to play more. You got to play more fantasy football, Dustin. Because then you probably at least... Yeah. Yeah, you know how you get into the playoffs? You play a lot.
It's all about volume.
It's volume. It's volume plays. Let's see if I can find... Let's see. Bobby gave me a best gift, which was an Xbox 360 he bought himself back in 2005. It's still functioning. Worst was the bike I got when I was 10 and immediately crashed and broke my arm. So I feel like unless this was like a secondhand bike that fell apart as you were riding it and that's why you crashed, that it was still a good gift. You just didn't know how to use it. What do you think, George? It's not a bad gift if you suck on it.
This is true. like my kids got a hoverboard for Christmas one year, and like I tried to get out of that thing, busted my tuchus, just absolutely busted the tuchus. But my daughter on that thing or my son on that thing, no problem at all. Whipping around the house, riding it outside, up and down the driveway, up and down the street, over the speed bumps, no problem with them. So I think it was more of a me issue than the actual uh, object itself. So I completely blame Bobby Ham for this. I mean, eat more bacon and you can learn to ride a bike.
So I have this weird so men, if you did wait till last minute for shopping and you ordered something and it says it's going to show up late, my last Christmas present just delivered via US Postal, which I didn't know was running today. It looks like I signed for it, which is odd because I've been here with you guys.
You're that talented. You could do this, not leave screen, run to the door, and sign for something. I'm impressed.
I must be the Flash, but I'm not that fast. But so you guys, man, if you did shop late, you do have hope. The postal service is running today,
Which is good
amazingly.
because I got some things from Amazon that are scheduled to be here today as well. And as soon as we are done with the show, I am venturing out into the wild. I have some last minute things I need to go get. 95% of the shopping is done. All the major gifts are done. All the big things are done. Just little things here and there that I want to go get before all the stores close.
Stephen Varner says, "I appreciate you guys. Your advice is super helpful. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for watching and bringing the questions up and being part of this group, being part of the Frankenstein League, which you have a question here. Back to my Frank measure question. Would you pick up and start Roshan Johnson over Dalton Schultz, George?"
I think I would actually. Going up against the Cardinals, yeah, Steve. I think I would actually do that.
Yeah, and I would do that too, even though it's tight end premium. So I would do Roshan as well. And my son, I saw Santa on Flight Radar 24. So that's a tip for all you parents. If you want to track Santa's progress, Flight Radar 24 will help you do that. So you can show your kids where Santa is, and that way.
They know to go to bed, so
they know when to go to bed, so Santa can show up. Yep. It's a little tough too, though, because if you have a kid like my son who may want to watch Santa on Flight Radar 24 and wait up and try and see Santa, he can tell that and then not show up at your house and not bring you gifts. So you got to make sure you don't do that. You actually go to bed.
Santa definitely has the nice and naughty list, but what he also has that's really underrated and not talked about as much is your IP address. So he knows who is online and who's not. He knows what you're doing online, and he can tell if you're up watching the Flight Radar 24 when you should be sleeping. You're just going to bypass your house.
It's the new version of he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
Yep. It's all about the IP address these days.
Yeah. And he's got that anti VPN, he's got the anti VPN system, so he can catch you if you've got a VPN, which I believe my son still has. So we could watch Bluey season 3 before everybody else because it was on in Australia. Well, it's 12:15 and we're just about out of questions. George, did you have a bad Christmas gift you wanted to get into at all?
Nope. I can honestly say I have never received what I would consider as a bad Christmas gift. I'm appreciative for anything, whether it be something I like or something that I don't. Just the fact that somebody thought enough to get me something, I could not label that as a bad Christmas gift, so I won't. So, being the humble individual that I am, I absolutely will not say I've ever had a bad Christmas gift.
Let's see. Before I tell mine, Wyatt says, "Do you think Downs will have a bigger role with Pittman out? Have Tajay in the flex now, George."
I think Downs will have a bigger role. I actually picked up Downs yesterday and threw him into one of my lineups for my semifinal league that I'm playing it up against. I'm gonna name drop here if that's okay. I'm going up against the great Bob Harris from Football Die Hard Sirius XM. He and I are meeting up in a semifinal match. I am absolutely hurting right now with Hollywood Brown out, with Keenan Allen out. I do have Khalil Herbert, and I am not trusting, and I have Tajay Spears. I've got Tajay Spears on the bench right now, and I've got Alec Pierce in. It's a tough matchup at Atlanta, but with no Pittman, I expect him to have some more volume than he typically
He's talking about Josh Downs, not Alec Pierce, though.
No. I like Downs better than Pierce. I wish I had Downs.
Okay.
To be honest, I wish I had Downs over Pierce.
So, yeah, I don't know. I like Tajay against Seattle. I do like that matchup. It's close enough for me. I'll go ahead and say Downs because you're on Downs. I don't want to split it. It's so close for me. But yeah, I would say with Pittman out, they're gonna have to spread it around a little bit more. I think Downs is a solid play.
Yeah, he automatically moves to their wide receiver one, and I want the wide receiver one versus the RB2. I expect Tajay Spears to have some workload. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's going to be anything that is going to be super, super impressive, or you're going to be saying, "Oh man, I wish I would have started Tajay Spears over Josh Downs."
Are they starting Tannehill?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Will Levis is out. I mean, looking at Tajay Spears on the season, he's had 4 games in PPR over that he's had double-digit points. He's only had 4 games all year. For the most part, it's a middling total. Like last week, he had 4.7 points against Houston. Against the great Carolina matchup, he had 1.7 points. Jacksonville matchup, he had 4.6. Pittsburgh 6.2. Like he's not. And I love Tajay Spears. Like I think next year he's going to be a phenomenal running back. I don't expect Derrick Henry to be there next year, but I'm gonna go with Josh Downs here. It just he's so hot and cold. I can't do it.
All right, and then need a wide receiver and a flex. This is Drop the Mic FF. Standard League, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Godwin, Collins, Trey McBride. We need to sit one of these guys. Oh, sorry. Addison, Godwin, Collins, Trey McBride.
All right, so I'm going to start Chris Godwin because he has been absolutely on fire the last
For 1
few
game.
weeks.
Just 1 game.
No, he's had Godwin is getting hot at the right time. 23 targets in his past 2 games, 15 catches, 208 yards over that span against the Falcons and Packers. He's getting a lot more targets. 8 receivers have scored at least 14.5 PPR points against Jacksonville in the past 7 games. I expect Godwin and Evans should be able to take advantage of that porous Jacksonville secondary.
Yeah, I was going to do Addison and Godwin, so I think I'm going to stick with Addison and Godwin.
What makes this tough is it being a standard league. Which one of these guys is most likely to
get a touchdown?
Yeah, that's really what it is. I'm gonna split this with you.
Okay.
I really like Trey McBride, so I'm gonna go with Godwin and McBride.
Okay, so we're both saying Godwin,
Yep. And then it comes down to
and
Addison and McBride.
yeah. Yeah, I just trust Addison, I trust Addison more than I trust McBride as far as touchdowns go. Like, I think Trey's a great PPR play, but I'm not sure. That Chicago defense has played somewhat better as of late. So I'm not sure I trust McBride to get in the end zone. So
They've
but
been very good against receivers.
not as much as against tight ends, yeah.
Yeah, and if like I get it, it's a standard league, but I'm gonna put this out there. His last 3 games, 7 receptions, 60 yards, so he got you 6 points there. Uh, at the Steelers, 8 for 89 and a touchdown. Last week at versus the 49ers, 10 receptions, 102 yards. So he's been putting up decent numbers even in a standard league. He's putting up, double-digit numbers the past 2 weeks. I'm gonna roll with McBride.
All right. Well, that looks like all of our questions. I can't answer the worst Christmas gift I ever got. I got like a year into the marriage with my wife. We went to my wife's grandmother's house, and my wife's grandmother gets everybody a gift. Whole family, big family, big family. My wife's grandmother had 5 kids. And at this point they all had multiple kids, and they all have spouses, and on and on and on, right? So a lot of people. So it wasn't it wasn't malicious or anything, but I don't think my wife's grandmother knew what I wanted and bought too much for my wife. Because when I opened up my Christmas present, it was wind chimes. Now, I famously dislike wind chimes. 100% dislike them. Not a fan of them. Can't stand them being up around the house. So I got wind chimes, and my wife would not admit for, all the way home, wouldn't admit that it was a gift for her that they repackaged and repurposed for me, which was fine. I didn't have any ill will towards it. It was, what do I care? So, but she wouldn't admit that they weren't my present, that they were her present. So, we get all the presents home. You do the, how are we going to find room for all of this new stuff in the house? We don't have a big house. And my wife said, all right, we're going to put these wind chimes up. And I said, oh, no, I couldn't possibly put these wind chimes up. They came from your grandmother, and they're to me. And they're super special because they're my gift. And I need to keep these preserved and, as a remembrance. I said, if they were your gift, that you'd be free to do whatever you wanted with them. My wife is so stubborn, it took her a whole year to admit that they were her wind chimes. And so but she did that. She put them up and was happy. But that's the worst Christmas gift. And like I said, not like it not like it was a issue or anything. Look, I got it. I was new to the family, and, they had a bunch and she just lost track. But let's see. Did we get a couple of questions here since?
Yeah, we did. Steve,
Okay.
First off, shout out to Steve through $1.99 for the super chat. He had this question to go with it as well.
Since you're short on questions,
I'm going to go Barkley here, by the way.
I'm going to go Barkley here as well. Yeah, I don't like either one of the matchups. Neither of them playing. I'm assuming it's Javonte, not Jameson, but either way, I'm going to take Barkley.
Yeah. And then
my son says
he wants to super chat, so I made a very solid suggestion to him. It would work every single time.
The problem with that is, George, the wallet's in my pants that I'm sitting on. It'd be hard for him to get it.
No, he wouldn't. He's short. Well, he's not short.
No, he's not short.
He's not short. He's not short. He's an old guy.
No, my son at 11 years old now, just turned 11, is 5'4", 5'5", something like that. He's not short at all.
He should come in. It's a Christmas edition. He should come. I know he's watching. Eli, this is a formal invitation to come in and say hi to everybody. If you'd like.
We got 5 minutes left, bud. Come on in.
So
Let's see.
Go ahead.
Half PPR, sit 1, McLaren, London, or Addison.
I think I'm sitting McLaren. That's easy.
Yeah, I'm sitting McLaren too.
It just started raining here at the house. I thought I heard it raining, but I wasn't sure, so I had to get up and look. It's pouring out right now.
Stick with Lockett and Aaron Jones or plug-in Downs for 1. I'm sticking with Lockett and Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I am as well. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if he says Dunn or Donkey, but that's my son.
Well, I said he's an Oga, and he could have said Donkey. Remember?
And then Wyatt says, turns out I had a couple questions and didn't know it. Thanks again, gents. Hey, anytime, man. That is what we're here for. And I hope all of you have questions for us next week, because that means you cruise to your title, and we can do this for you again on Christmas Eve, much like we did today on or New Year's Eve, much like we did today on Christmas Eve. And really, I'm
kind of disappointed. I expected Eli to be joining you by now.
I know. I'm kind of stalling in case he makes it. We got 4 minutes, so anybody want to get in last minute questions, we can do that. I can start doing the goodbyes, and then if he doesn't make it in here by 12:30, he missed his shot. So we'll just do that. I do want to say thank you. Oh, Mark's Pizzeria. Did you know? I don't know.
Listen, I think he's been.
Somebody broke my son.
No,
I don't.
I think he's been sipping the eggnog this morning. Is what it is.
He's saying, "What do you mean?" And I meant that George said you could come in here and be on the show, but you've only got 3 minutes now, so you need to come into the podcast room here if you want to be on the show for a minute and say goodbye to everybody. But I'm going to start saying goodbyes for us.
Hey, do me a favor real quick. Look up to your right. There's a flashing clock. That has been bothering me the entire show, by the way. I just want to let you know that. Like, can you set the time on that or something?
It's not my office. I'm only in here Sunday mornings.
By the way,
so
I
don't.
Love it when your son says bet.
Yes, come in the office, Eli.
Come in the office. Go to your mom's office and say hi to the people.
Would you play OBJ over London or Addison? I would. No. He's been banged up, and it's against the 49ers secondary.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so here he comes. I just heard him tell my wife that it's okay that he's coming in because I said so. Come on in, bud. All right. This is my son, Eli. He's 11.
Well, this is kind of awkward.
Yeah, it is. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I'm gonna walk off screen now.
Okay, he's off screen now. All right, so we're gonna close out the show. I want to say thank you to everybody who watched, who's been part of this. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank you for asking us questions. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for being part of this. And I hope each and every one of you have a great Christmas. Again, if you want to join Gilded, Toilet Titles at gmail.com. You can join our Gilded chat. This is much harder.
Oh,
yeah. Go ahead and dab.
I just dabbed on Eli.
It's much harder with my son in here, but I do want to say thank you to all of you. Again, patreon.com/toiletstitles. Like and subscribe to the show on YouTube. That way you can see when we're going live. Off season, we're 1 week away from the playoff, the fantasy playoffs being over. So we only have one more of these, but throughout the off season, I think we had more content this last off season than we've had in the regular season. So we will guide you through the off season for sure, especially, you dynasty players. I know some of the redraft guys. Oh, you can't play that loud. Eli reverberates, bud. I know some of you Redraft Guys won't be back until like right before the season starts, but follow us all off season because we have all kinds of info and stuff for you. So with that, I do want to close out the show. George, go ahead.
Does either I want to say hi to anybody? Does he want to give a shout out to anybody before we sign off?
Do you want to give a shout out to anybody specific?
Mm,
You want to say hi to Eric? Come say hi to Eric. I know he's not watching, but you can show him later. Come on.
Might as well.
Come on.
Hi, Eric.
Shouting you out.
Just shouting you out because you're my best friend.
There we go.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
For that, for me, for George, for Toilets Titles, thank you guys and have a Merry Christmas.
Bye.